Here. So I want to make a quick video. I don't have too much going on, but I did want to update everybody because if you watch my YouTube videos, to you it's confusing, to me it's even more confusing, so I want to just maybe clear some things up. So over the last 2 years, I think, I've been documenting online about my journey for phalloplasty. The reality of this is that I actually had started sending in information so that I could get funding for phalloplasty over 4 years ago. Originally, I did get a date for November 2018 in San Francisco with Dr. Safir. Now, unfortunately, I suffered from mental health issues, and at that point in time, I had to cancel my appointment because it just wasn't going to work for me. I had to make that decision. It was nothing to do with the surgeons or anything like that. It was completely to do with me and how I don't travel well. I can travel on a plane, I can travel in a car, I can go places, but the staying has always been really hard. I have separation anxiety, those types of things, so that all plays into factor. And at that point in time, it was not something that I knew that mentally I was going to be able to do. So I gave my date away, and luckily enough, I do know somebody who was able to pick up my date, and they are now post-op, and I am super happy for them. They are doing super awesome, and since their surgery, they have just they seem so much happier. They seem like a complete, I don't want to say that, I guess until you find your true self, you don't feel like a complete person. So I feel like it's okay to say that he seems more like a complete person now. And it's really awesome to have watched him go through this. And honestly, I don't want to say jealousy because I don't feel like I had any jealousy. It was one of those things oh man, that could have been me. But at the same time, in my mind, I knew that it wasn't my time. So then from there, I ended up hearing that Montreal was going to be doing all phalloplasty, which was great because that's what I wanted. And I live in Southern Ontario, and I have family that lives an hour from where the surgery clinic is on the other side of the Ontario border. So therefore, we wouldn't have really had to pay to stay anywhere. I could have brought my pets with me, which is one of my big anxieties as well. It just would have been a lot less of a worry, and I had gone through my consult and everything, and it seemed like they were good to go with it. Obviously, they were more comfortable with RFF, but they also stated that the surgeon themselves stated they were comfortable doing alt. Now, I do understand that OHIP has to go through hoops and stuff and whatever else to finalize things, which is fine, but I've noticed that other things have gone through finalization similar, and they don't take that long. So in total, I spent 2 years working with Montreal. I went and got a bunch of tests that no other surgeon has ever asked me to go get. I did that. I was cleared. I was told that I was a perfect candidate and that I would find out at the end of the summer of 2019, I should be able to get a date. And I contacted them, and they said that they weren't sure yet because things weren't finalized. So then I waited, and because they said by maybe around December, you should hear back from us. Well, I didn't hear back, so I ended up contacting them, and they emailed me back, and unfortunately the person I've been dealing with was on leave, so it's a new person, and I don't know if they're familiar with all the hoops that I've jumped through, or the fact that this is 4 years in the making, and I've had to make certain decisions. So yeah, that was annoying because I couldn't get an answer. And then in January, end of December, beginning of January, I had to get my HRT doctors to email quite a few times to ask hey, we want to know just what's going on, because our patient was told that they get a date within 2020, and now it almost looks like it's not even going to happen. So can you just let us know what's going on? And I guess from the email that they got back, which I was also sent the emails, the clinic said that they are not ready to do alt phalloplasty, which is not what I was told whatsoever. They said that things are taking longer and finalization isn't done yet. And so then my doctors were okay, well, can you give us a time frame? Will this be 1, 2 years, something or other? Because our patient needs to know whether they're going to be sitting around waiting for you or if they should just go elsewhere. And so what what they received back was pretty much saying like, yeah, it'll probably be like a year and a half, 2 years, but then at that point there will probably be a wait list, so then your patient would have to go on a wait list, so therefore it would be over 2 years. So I wasn't impressed with that, because that's not at all the information that I was given at my consult. That's not at all the vibe I was given. So that really sucked. And like, it may be to do with OHIP. It may be to do with surgeons' comfortability. It may be to do with not having the right people or the right things in place. But at the end of the day, I don't want to blame them specifically. But at the same time, like, I spent 2 years putting all my ducks in a row just so that I could be told that it would be probably another 2 to 3 years, and that's not fair. So I ended up deciding that that's a no-go for me. I had then looked into a surgeon that I found out about from my friend who had Phalloplasty with Dr. Safir, because I was then looking back into Dr. Safir, because I was like, well, he was my first choice, and if I can make it, then I can do it. And then I realized from my friend that there's another surgeon. Her name is Rachel Bluebon Langer, and she is in Brooklyn. She does phalloplasty, among other surgeries, and she's really good at what she does. I actually did an intake form for them, and then I found out that my funding would be good, but they have a 2-year wait list. So then it was back to square one, and I was kind of like, hoping maybe Brooklyn, just because it's closer, it might be easier for me stress-wise and things like that, but unfortunately that didn't work out either. Now, I ended up calling Dr. Saper's office, and he works at the Crane Center. When I was going through for phalloplasty, it was still called Brownstein and Crane and not the Crane Center, so technically they still had me on file, but my information obviously was old, and it was on Brownstein and Crane forms and not the Crane Center forms. Sorry, pardon me. So what I did was I called them. They emailed me out the forms. I have the forms now. I'm trying to get all my stuff together so that I'm not sending in as many things. So I've filled out the forms. I'm going to see my doctor next week, and we are going to get all my letters that I would need, as well as I had my hysterectomy report sent over to my doctor's office as well, so that I can send that in, so that they have that. And then hopefully once all that gets sent in, I was told by the person who books the surgeries that I spoke to on the phone that once I was told that like my government approval was good, the money side of it, and once the Crane Center was like, yep, like you're good to go, they will give me a refresher consult, because I've already had a consult with Dr. Safir, so it would just be a refresher one over the phone. And then at that point, once I had my refresher consult and I was like, yeah, let's go, then they would be able to give me a date. And I was told that from that time frame, so hopefully because I can do a phone consult and it's just a refresher, it'll be something that I can do relatively soon and quick. So then from that point, I would probably be able to book a surgery with them within 3 to 6 months, which would mean that I would still get surgery in 2020, which is freaking amazing. And I'm pretty much done electrolysis. I go once a week if I can. I started off going twice a week, and that was going awesome. Unfortunately, due to financial situations, I was not able to go as frequently. Sometimes I've gone maybe once a month, just because that's all I've been able to do. But at this point in time, in the next 2 to 3 months, I probably should be done electrolysis, and that's with going once a week. So I'm pretty much all set to go with that. I do want to make sure that I get the template from Dr. Safir to make sure that I have removed everything where it needs to be removed. But that's where I am now. So I just wanted to let everybody know, with all the confusion and the multiple options that I've tried to go through, planning a surgery with mental health is not fun. Planning a surgery where you have to stay away for a month is daunting, intimidating, and scary, and it almost makes you feel like you can't do it. But at this point in my life, I've let my mental health control me for a really long time. I feel like I've been getting better with it. So really, I am hoping that this time it's not going to be such an issue. I'm hoping that I'm going to be better prepared. I'm going to do everything I can to prepare myself, but at this point in time, it's one of those catch-22 things. So either I bite the bullet and I deal with my mental health and I go through with surgery, or I decide to not go through with anything and I remain upset, dysphoric, miserable, which also creates a bigger issue in my mental health. So I think at this point in time, because of where I am, because I feel more secure with my mental health than I had before, and I know that over the years, my family, it's not that they weren't accepting, but it's a matter of, it's more open now. Like, I can talk to my parents about my phalloplasty. And, like, when I went for my consult over a year ago with Montreal, my dad took me. We stayed in a hotel. He took me to the consult. He waited and did paperwork in the car. But, like, on the way there and on the way back, we talked about everything. So it was really awesome to know that, like, I know both my parents are going to be there for me. I know that I have family members that are going to take care of my pets. And I know that my wife and my son are going to come with me. I know that for most people, that wouldn't be something that they would pick. They would pick maybe keeping their kid at home with someone or having somebody else come with them for surgery. But because of my mental health, it's not something that I'm easily able to do. Like I said, I have really bad separation anxiety. So my biggest thing with even going for surgery is the fact that, like, when will I see my son? I'll go in for surgery, and then like I know if they bring him to come visit me, he's gonna want to hug me. He's daddy's boy. Like, he's gonna want to, like, come see me, and it's gonna be hard. And I don't know if anybody has had phalloplasty and has children. My son is just over 1. By the time that I have surgery, he'll probably be close to 2. He's a big part of my life. I'm with him a lot of the time, and I know that it's going to be difficult for me. So I feel like maybe once I'm out of the hospital setting and with my family who's going to be caring for me, it will be easier. But I kind of just don't think that I could do the whole, like, I can't see my son for like a month, or I can't, obviously it's going to be one of those things like, I'll give you a hug or whatever, like, because I obviously don't think I'll be able to pick him up. That's probably a big no-no. But at the end of the day, I don't also want to, like, not see him and not have him see me. I know when I was little, I had my parents go on vacation, and I was a brat, let's be honest. I ignored my dad for like 2 weeks, so that's my fear too. But anyways, that's the end of this video. I just wanted to update everybody, and I will chat at you later. Peace.